I'd like to get the game to keep what they set at start. If they start with no cost, then they don't change it later. If it started out with repair costs, I don't mind it then. I don't really mind games changing things up. In fact, I actually welcome them changing the formula. Change isn't something I fear or get frustrated by. But I also expect with that level of acceptance for people just to change things just to see if the change would work, not because it was broken before. For people for like the devs to be willing to say, okay, yeah, change didn't work, let's change it back. Repair cost should be an option. Let casuals play and diehards farm. Yeah, that's an interesting solution as well. Having it more as a hardcore mode. Repair costs are added, then they should also make metal bars and ores teleportable to offset it, in my opinion. Yeah, because metal tools would really struggle. Again, unless there is some other method by which they do that. Like, for example, here's an example you could have. Instead of needing to go back to your workbench or your forge to repair your sword, you need a whetstone, but you have to make the whetstone, and then you can carry it with you as a portable repair tool. I don't mind the repair cost. The upgrades cost 30 bronze. It's not about the amount of material. It's very easy to overstack every item in the game already. It's just a major hassle because of all the items you have in your inventory that have durability. Repair is already a slowdown to gameplay for resources mining. Weapons, kind of. Armor and shields, not at all. So repair costs for non-resource tools would be fine by me. Adding a little repair kit with durability, which could be a bit expensive, could be a solution. Yeah, no, exactly. R2 Samu. Exactly what I was saying. It would be interesting if repairs cost, but in a more you pay up front and then can do the repairs on the fly kind of way. In fact, that would... I don't know if people would agree with this, but right now, I feel that would be even easier than the current system. Or rather, less hassle. It would be more costly, but I would love a way to be like, oh, man, my pickaxe just broke while I'm down in this dungeon. Well, that's fine. I've got my repair tool or whatever, or my repair box or my whetstone, what have you. I can just sit down and repair it. And this thing costs like 5 bronze a time, but it has a durability, and its durability only goes down as it gets consumed. Sorry, as it gets used. Don't eat your repair tools. I mean, unless you're like a omnivore, and you eat everything, in which case, chow down. Basically, if you're a hatch, by all means, but otherwise, don't. Hello, troll. Don't mind me. Please don't betray my stealthiness, dear. Hi! 271 damage there. Thank you. Well, that certainly worked. One extremely dead troll. I mean extremely dead. Ultra dead. Repair kits would make much more sense. I'd happily welcome that as a game mechanic. Having a pickaxe repair kit would be amazing when grabbing iron from the crypt. Yeah, exactly. And that's a way of making repairs cost, but not get in the way. In fact, improve the gameplay experience. It doesn't always need to be, oh, well, I've got to go back to the repair bench, and I need to pay for my repairs, and I still need to go back to the repair bench in the middle of what I'm doing, with interrupting my adventure run. I may actually suggest that, though I strongly suspect that that's probably something that's already been suggested. It seems like one of those things that probably everyone has thought of. No, really. I believe the devs said in an interview that they thought the reason for the success was a lack of repair costs and the ability to build portals. At the same time, the reason for metals not to be teleported, so you got a reason to use the strips. You know what? It might be the case. And they may be spot on with that. I strongly imagine that even if that wasn't something that the devs wanted and weren't interested in adding into the core game experience, it'd be easily enough added with mods for those who did want that sort of thing. Well, no. Let's head back with some of this. Can I pop this down anyway? One of the things I often mention in my Let's Plays is when it comes to a single-player game, I don't really think there's such a thing as cheating. Play however you want. If it's a single-player game, the objective is for you to be entertained. And if your entertainment is having infinite stats, infinite abilities, flying, all the building resources you could ever want, then you're playing it a perfect way. A perfectly valid way. In multiplayer, it's a little bit less so. But as a kind of continuation of that, and I often point out that I like options being available. Like that's my favorite thing in any game is options. Options to make the game enjoyable to your very specific preferences. The more options a game includes, the more I like it. Even if those options don't apply to me, like they're not options I would ever pick. I like it when they are available for someone to have. I think it's it's a very smart idea just from a game development point of view to allow people to tailor the game experience to their own desires. There's something to be said when it's a narrative-heavy game, because you're telling a story then, and unless your objective is tell your own story, then you do need some you need a bit of a script. You need some limitations to make that script work. And there's definitely something to be said about not making a game try to do everything all at once. So you don't necessarily want a city management game to also be a voxel builder, to also be a tend and befriend, to also be a theme park manager. And so, too many options, and then all of a sudden, in your implementation, in your efforts to implement all of these different, games that someone could make this game into, you're gonna do, half a job on everything. But definitely with things like that, survival games where you've got an option to scale down how important food is, but it's a survival game, so you don't want to take food away, or you don't want to completely invalidate the use of food. For example, the way that Valheim does it is really, really good, in that you can eat nothing and you'll have a very base level of satiety, and that will give you like 25 hit points and a tiny stamina bar, but it's enough to play with. You are heavily encouraged to get food, but it's an option. Would you say it's possible to beat this game nomadically? Now, by nomadically, I'm assuming you mean I'm gonna put this in wood cabins. I'm assuming you mean along the lines of just having a cart or a boat, and that's your only real additional inventory. It's only what you can carry or what you can move with you when you're traveling. I'm not sure if that would be feasible. just because you need certain, like as it is right now, you need certain types of buildings to be able to do anything. Now, you could strip those buildings down and just pack them up and take them along with you, but many of them are made from very different components, and you'd need a large array of those components. It's possible that you could play it in a more of a, you know, move from one place to another, set up a camp temporarily, do what you were in that place to do, then move on. That might be possible, but I don't think you could fully do a you know, living out of a cart or a boat kind of playthrough. Exactly, Demi. Options aren't just a matter of preference. It could also make the difference between someone who isn't, who can't use certain controllers, for example, or perhaps is, I'm not sure. I can't think of any particular, colorblind and things like that. You know, options to change the way the interface works, to change the interface itself, to better enable different people to be able to play. Yeah, those are really, really important. Oop. Let me grab that. Let me give you a quick allow. They've broken mnemonic. Dunk. I really need to get Nightbot to be less aggressive with them. I'm just going to gobble down sausages because I can. I've got so many now. Our rested buff is good, but yeah, you know what? Let's see if we can kick. And we'll top up our sausages. Can't see this time. Much sadness. Colorblind is a big thing that sadly many games ignore. Yeah. Yeah, Nightbot is bullying people, Leafing. Please help. How long does the bonfire last? You can put a lot of fuel into the bonfire. But I get the impression that certain things don't tick down while I'm away. So yeah, it's got 3 out of 10. And I filled it up ages ago. Ages ago. No! One day, turnips, one day. Yeah, by all means. Whatever you feel like, broken mnemonic. Right, I say that without actually checking the clip. Let's hope it's not something taken horribly out of context. Alright, there we go. Right. Well, we've got this tiny little sliver of swamp here. I don't think it's going to be particularly fruitful for what we're looking for. We can always try. Nice try, but no. Oh dear. That was potentially bad. Please no. Oh, wait a second. Have we been here? No, we haven't. No. But we do now understand how to mine guck. Very important. One would assume. Also, because if there's any other recipes now that include guck, it'll automatically understand that I know what it is and populate the recipe accordingly. Oh. I do believe someone may be at my door. Papu. Papu. Mushroom. Back to being Apu. Hello, skeleton. Whoa. Huzzah! I care not for your crazy poisons, not anymore. There we go. My natural health regen is now significantly higher than the poison is. And that's without any extra buffs, so that's nice. Right. Chat. Keep me safe. If you fail to keep me safe, hashtag blame Leafin. Phantom door scratches. I have no idea what that was, but I was sure I heard something scratching at the door behind me, but apparently not. Well, still got a little ways to go. Very peculiar area, it really is. I'm so wet and so unhappy with my lot in life. I would like to pick all of that up, please. I missed. No. Have I really filled my inventory up with rubbish again? I do appear to have, yes. The blueberries are currently more valuable to me than the tin. Yeah. I think we may have gotten to the point now where there is no more swamp this way. I think the lack of mandatory eating and free repairs does massively help the game. Needing to eat and needing resources to repair are negative gameplay mechanics, as in you can't continue to play the game unless you do this. It does have its place, but in Valheim's context, having them helps greatly. Yeah, you may well be completely right on that. Look. And I'm not really sure that it's even billed as a survival game. Don't want that. Don't want that. There we go. Right, we've done a massive, massive loop. And I think... Copper. I think we've more or less scanned everything there is to scan up here. There's only one other area that I've seen that might contain a crypt. That's a little bit disappointing, but at the same time, we've covered a lot of ground. Do I have to go over the mountain in order to get back through here? I might do, actually. Okay, that looks like that mountain follows this entire route down. Well, this is the crypt that I was talking about. There's also a little bit of swamp that goes out in that direction. I didn't see any swamp on my main island. In fact, I haven't seen any swamp except for really far to the north. How do you name markers on the map? you select the icon down the side, double click on the map. Let me give you a test. Double click, then test. There you go. And then if you left click, it'll add a little X. And if you right click, it'll delete it. Now the X's, you might think, well, if you can delete it, why do you need the X? It's helpful to show you, like if you just deleted like a dungeon off the map. Let me find one that I've cleared. If I just deleted this burial chamber, I might find it again later on and be like, oh, I found a new chamber, and then add it in there, go in, and then wonder why there's nothing there. So by being able to just mark it as crossed off, I'm preserving the information that it's there, but adding information that there's nothing of interest there anymore. So if I walk past that way, I won't be surprised by it being there and think I need to explore it. Also, it does. There are some things that respawn in crypts as well, which is useful. Specifically the yellow mushrooms, though. I've got far more yellow mushrooms than I don't know what to do with. We may do another crypt here. Left click allows you to put an X through it. Yeah, I definitely feel like, as much as there's a lot of discussion about teleporting metals, and a lot of people, and I imagine it's very much the same types of people who are very fond of not having any kind of repair costs and that sort of thing. Oh, there we are. So this I think I will accept. I imagine these people who are very fond. Oh, actually, go grab that mushroom back. Oh no, mushroom, come back! Who are very happy with no repair costs and not mandatory eating. Though, understand that it is optional eating in the same way as leveling up in a typical RPG is optional. The same way that gathering any hearts in a Zelda game is optional. Not doing it is basically playing the game on hard mode. So if you're looking for an easier experience, the ability not to eat is not making it easier for you. It's making it harder. By far. If the easier the experience you want, the more you have to eat. So it's a bit of an interesting one, because it was held up as an example of, oh well, this mechanic is really nice and it makes it really simple. No, it doesn't. If you actually stop to think about it, not eating is the worst thing you can do if you want a relaxed experience. It is the exact opposite of what you're trying to achieve. But I digress. Having the option to do things is, you know, in some cases it makes it easier, in some cases it makes it harder. Not having to have repair costs makes it easier, so on and so forth. Having an option to have repair costs, like at World Spawn or something like that, and no, thank you very much, at World Spawn or something like that, would be a way of increasing the difficulty level. So it's like, oh, well, you've decided to have more of a survival experience, so you need to have food, and you need to have repair costs, and so your resources are going to be stretched a bit thinner than usual. But with teleporting, not having teleporting, like teleport restrictions, would, in my opinion, make the game really bland. The need to teleport to move metals, but only that. So it's like a rare resource. It's a resource that you desire, but it is a rare one. Gives you a reason to actually build out the world, and I think that is a big part of what makes the game fun. Having roads, roads and docks and building ships. You'd have realistically no reason to build ships other than getting somewhere faster, and that's, once you've been there once, you would never need to sail there again, because you would have a portal that took you there, and so on and so forth. So it's an interesting scenario. Definitely. And it's an interesting discussion in general, the choices that have been made to balance the game and how those choices have made the game popular, because it is hugely popular, I think beyond anyone's expectations, frankly. So it's done something fantastically right, and I strongly suspect this is going to be the next indie game that lots of other indie games and some big studios are going to be paying attention to try and work out the formula that they used that made it so popular so they can emulate it. Repair costs should probably be character-based. I don't think they should be character-based. I think they should be world-based, honestly. But again, options, you know. If you could have a world that was itself harder to manage rather than a character that was harder, because you've got things like Terraria, where you could have soft, like medium mode and are they actually called softcore, medium core, and hardcore characters in Terraria? I think they might be actually. So with that, you've got... Wow, did you not notice me? Strange. With that, you've got scenarios where you can have characters with vastly different rule sets all inhabiting the same world, and it's kind of an interesting mismatch, but I don't think it works particularly well. I mean, it depends on people's goals, really, though. Generally speaking, in a multiplayer environment, I think everyone should be operating with the same rule set. Nope. Nope. Thank you. Thing of value. Alright. Well, we've gone all the way around this mountain range now, and we are back down here. Alright, it's time for us to make our way to Wraithguard and drop off some things. There's one more dungeon that we could loot. Hello. What on earth were you swinging at? Whatever it was, it ended with your death. This land is hard and wild, but we who are brought here are harder still. Okay, it's the wild boar thing. Yeah, it's up to 3 million now. I just don't find it interesting slowly carrying metals across known paths to my base rather than using ships, etc. to actually explore new parts of the map. It's really just a time sink and not an interesting challenge or decision. No, that's fair. And again, it's down to options. I would have no qualms if someone had the ability to disable the requirements for metal teleporting. They'd have a very different experience to the one I have, but therein is the beauty, really. One game, but two people with vastly different playthroughs. And it would be vast. The necessity to build different types of infrastructure would dictate that our games would be different inherently. Well, it's kind of crazy how much distance I can cover when I know where I'm going. Nope. Well, I will actually deal with you just so that I don't have to drag you all the way back to Wraithguard. Tunk. Sausages. Home, sweet pallid home. Boop. No. Oh dear. Okay. Oh, my goodness. I need to let my health regenerate for a bit. There's guck up there I can collect. Would I mind seeing if I can land harpoon on a land mob? Sure. I think we've already tested that though. I harpooned boars, I'm fairly certain, a while ago, but let me see. Oh dear. That may have been a mistake. But yes, absolutely can. Hike him straight to me. Definitely would get rid of a time sink, which would be a nice option for people like my guy who only has maybe 3 hours to play at night after work if he plays that day. I've been having a hard time fighting the urge to play without him. Yeah, it's fair. But, you know, ultimately, as I was saying before, anything that isn't added in base game is probably entirely possible to add via mods. Hey, Lady Sheila! Yeah, still at it. We're still hunting for this bloody third boss. Being rather slippery, the scallywag. I don't approve. Not even the tiniest bit. However, we have got a frankly ridiculous amount of Draugr-related resources. Oh, it was a big thunderstorm. Let's go out and watch it from above. Actually, also make sure that my boat doesn't get messed up. Oh. I really hope to show you this neat thing I noticed before in my solo game at some point. But I need to find the right time for it. It has to be during a rainstorm, and there's a bit of luck involved. How's the ship doing? Actually, the ship's doing fine. Great. But when / if we find it, I don't know. I hope so. I hope we do, but it might take some time. Basically, just look for the lightning strikes. Rather not directly spoil it, just because, you know, the odds are, if I do that, then, you know, 5 minutes later, it'll actually be on screen, and the moment of wonderment and wowing would be lost. How are you doing, Lashilab? Did you have a nice nap? For those of you who are really interested in picking this up, it's cheaper now than it'll ever be. It's only going to get more expensive as time goes on. They have. I'm not aware that they've confirmed mod support. Hawker. Not aware of that at all. And you're quite right. There being mods and there being mod support for the game natively are very, very different things. There are mods for the game, but I don't know if there's any planned native mod support. I think to mine this area, and indeed to have a look in there, we need to head over to Despair's Folly. I do in fact believe this to be true. So, given that, I am instead going to first head back to base, drop off a few things. Remind me to pick back up my key. Alright, time for me to go on a quest for lunch. Let's see if there's still an Aavak here when I come back. Well, it depends entirely on how long your quest for lunch is going to take. It may well be an Aavak still here. Turnip stew. But I feel there is a need. A need in me to build. There we are. Need a turnip seed bulb. Need a seed turnip. Most elusive of turnip kind. Oh, that's it. We're going to grab the turnip seeds. I want regular old turnips. They're probably a bit too close, actually. We'll keep our fingers crossed that turns out okay. I'll just tuck that in there for now. Right, carrots. I am really eager to get a new farm set up at some point. I have grand plans. When don't I, though, I suppose. Right, there we go. All done and done. Right, gonna head in. I'll find out what I could do with those turnips. Before I do anything else. Right, so what's turnip stew and how do we make it? Okay. Much more balanced, a lot more health than carrot soup. Carrot soup is 20 health and 60 stamina. Lasts less time. Yeah, turnip stew is actually just straight up better. But uses turnips and meat. Turnips, we're playing Animal Crossing today? I wish I could say that that wasn't the first thing that went through my mind when I saw that you could get turnips, but it was. It was literally the first thing. I was like, oh, I like Animal Crossing. And I was like, oh, no. Did I just do that? I did. Oh, no. I'd like more carrot soup, please. Carrot cutlasses are better. Oh, by far. Could anything be better than carrot cutlasses? I think not. That's actually true, Visual. Turnip stew is probably the best one that we've seen so far, in fact, for that reason. It is the only food that we could grow entirely ourselves. Since you can farm meat by having a boar farm, or a boar ranch rather, and the turnips you can grow in your actual farm. So you would have one food type that you would always have available. That's a very good point. Very, very good point. And realistically speaking, let's be honest, Draugr are very easy to farm. They've gone from a threat to a food source shockingly fast. I kind of feel a little bit sad for them. Especially if I don't mess with those spawners and I actually keep them. My lord, this rain melted. Okay, we need to drop off some eyes and then we're good. I'm really, really, really strongly favoring the idea of setting up a food hall, or just massively expanding my house, and the sort of expansion that requires a complete rebuild. So not really an expansion, more just a rebuild. Oh. Have I really gone through all of those? Wow, I've really gone through all of those bronze head arrows. Dear goodness. Alright. Well, easy enough to fix. Time to tame some bulls. Sticks. Well, well, okay. On the topic of taming bulls, I'm not going to do it this stream. I really, really want to find the third boss. So I'm willing to dedicate the entire stream to it, or at least the attempt. If I fail to find the third boss by you know, the next couple of hours, I guess, then I'll just, you know, we'll be like, okay, we'll come back fresh and try this out, possibly on another island, because we'll have explored this extensively. But there's plenty more swamp around here that we can still have a look into. Plenty more swamp, actually. But we'll keep trying until we find it. But at the beginning of the next stream, we'll take a break from this because we would have spent an entire stream looking for it. And while that's been great, I have actually enjoyed just getting out there and just walloping the swamps. I'm not going to lie. That has been incredibly cathartic for me. I would like to do other things. Though before we head out, I would love it if those steps were a bit better. Before we head out, I'm going to take care of some more food. It's always time to get food. Oh, okay. Yeah. See, that's the whole verticality thing I was talking about. But I need to get some more raspberries because I would like some more raspberry jam to bring with me. But yeah, next stream, if not this stream, then next one, we will actually set up a proper farm. If we manage to kill the third boss in tonight's stream, that's going to be fantastic. We may actually unlock a lot more progress as well. And we'll have all sorts of new things to play with. If not, we've still got plenty of things to do here at Emberlight. Now, I'm starting to think that maybe, just maybe, we would want to set up a farm town. I kind of like the idea of having a small farming area over at Emberlight, but there's nothing that would stop us from going to another meadows area and setting up a little outpost there, and then having a portal that would take us to our farming town. And I could build it around that idea, just purely it exists for farming. I suspect there are some crops that will only work in certain environments as well. I would not be surprised at all if there are crops that we can grow only in the Black Forest, for example. I would not be surprised about that at all. Or certain places you have to go to farm certain animals. Like maybe boars will only really be content in meadows. Maybe bees can only be kept in meadows areas. But there'll be something else that'll grow in other areas. Whether that's in the game yet or not, I have no idea. I'm just theory crafting at the moment. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me, and it would actually be quite cool. Tell you what, though, I wouldn't mind if this game had some skills or aptitudes, either ones that you have to make a choice about, that lock out, kind of like Stardew Valley, and choosing, are you going to be more focused on crops or ranching, etc., etc. Or just straight up, you just have enough points and you can eventually unlock it, or you do it enough and you eventually unlock it. Like maybe you get a skill to 100 or 50, and then you can pick a perk out of that, and every 50 points in skill you get a perk or what have you. I really wouldn't mind getting to the point where I could get more out of each foraged item. Like, it would be so good. It's in 7 Days to Die. It's in Stardew Valley. It's in most games that I care to think of right now. The more I think about it, the more games I can add to that list. And it's just so nice. It's like, yeah, I am a man of the forests. I can find the delicate berries that your clumsy fingers would overlook and crush. No. I will have a bountiful harvest from each of these precious raspberry and blueberry berry bushes. Defective. I desire bees. Actually, on that note, I should probably go and check my beehives again. For a little while, I neglected them, and the amount of honey that I had available dropped rather sharply. Man, I remember coming across this little brook right in the beginning of our adventure when I was exploring around. Now that's the sign of a good game. When I move past a certain area and I get hit by a kind of a, not so much nostalgia, but just a memory of like, oh yeah, I remember when I saw this place for the first time. It was when I was doing this. A wee lad, humble in his ways. Hello.